Welcome back to Under the Tights, powered by the one and only Heroes Comics, right here in Fresno at Shaw and Highway 41, where we've been selling the best in comics for 28 years. I'm Rash from the Morning Blaze here at 105.1 The Blaze, and today we're going to talk about Aquaman. Yeah, no, I'm really talking about Aquaman. Nobody else does, so I figured I'd take a shot at it. If you've been seeing the trailers for Justice League or all the new movie posters for that movie, and you've been seeing Khal Drogo from Game of Thrones as Aquaman, and wondering to yourself, when did Aquaman become a badass? The answer to that is 1995, but we'll take a while to get there. We'll start at the beginning. Aquaman was developed in 1941, making him one of the longest running superheroes around. He was developed as a Baron of the Seas. He was. I mean, look, 80% of the Earth is ocean, so Aquaman's domain was to be that. Although most people know Aquaman from his time spent in the Super Friends of the 70s and 80s, the cartoon show, in which he was also considered to be kind of a B-level character. If you think about it, unless the storyline involved the ocean specifically, a cruise liner, an oil tanker, pirates, then the rest of the tasks, your supervillains on land, your mobsters, your meteors from the sky, your aliens, those were all dealt with by Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, Superman, even Batman, even though Batman has no superpowers. And Aquaman was always kind of left in the background, and that's why he's always kind of been looked at as kind of the butt of superhero jokes, for example. Like, what's Aquaman doing? He's useless in this, unless there's water, there's no point in him. So therefore, he was always kind of a second-tier character. That all changed, though, in 1995 when DC decided they were going to try and reinvent this character. See, previous to 95, Aquaman, he had his powers. He could breathe underwater. He could talk to fish. He could ride on dolphins. But there was really nothing about him that was edgy in any way that would draw characters in. So they decided they would redo him. And what they did was they gave him long hair and a beard. They cut off one of his hands and gave him a hook. They really made him a pirate, is what they did. Made him a lot more aggressive, and people really bought into that storyline. And that type of Aquaman became kind of the way Aquaman is still today. So for those of you who don't connect to comics the same way guys like me do, and your only reference point for Aquaman was Super Friends, and suddenly you're seeing this guy with long hair and looks like came off a pirate ship or out of a biker bar, and asking yourself, why happened? What happened to this guy? Now we have this guy. I don't know how. Well, that's kind of how. The stories from 95 on that ran for a little while, they don't really do them the same way anymore, but the ones that ran from 95 on were actually pretty good. I mean, they did away with some of his powers or changed some of his powers around a little bit. The whole talking to fish thing kind of went away, and it was replaced by an ability to control sea life, which actually makes a lot more sense. The hand being removed was interesting. There are certain storylines where he has both hands, certain storylines where he has a hook, certain storylines where his hand is made of this like magic water because he lost it. But his ability to control sea life was impaired, and his hand was eaten off by piranha. Interesting, if those of you are wondering why he has a hook in certain videos. But I'm really excited to see this version of this character in the upcoming movie, because I think that it's going to sneak up on some people. I think that when you think of the Justice League, the average comic book fan thinks Batman, Superman, now Wonder Woman, even Green Lantern, who I really do think is going to be in this movie. And Aquaman still is kind of a second-tier guy in this whole thing. And I think after this movie, I think Aquaman and the Flash are really probably going to steal the show here, and maybe Aquaman more than anything else, because the guy playing him is brooding and funny, and I think audiences will grab onto him. I think that this reinvention of the character is going to seem new to a lot of people, and I think it's really going to do well to propel this version of this character into the future. And although, like I said, he was reinvented in the mid-90s, I don't think a lot of people have really caught on to who he has become since then. Like I said, his powers are incredible. He's incredibly strong because he has to live at the bottom of the sea and deal with the pressure there. Matter of fact, some say he's even as strong or almost as strong as Superman himself as a result of that. So there's a lot there with this character, other than just saving people on booze cruises from pirates. So I want to see how this works out at this movie, and then again how the Solo movie in 2018 works out. But Aquaman, not just the butt of superhero jokes anymore since 1995. For more on Aquaman and the Justice League, head into Heroes Comics at Shaw and Highway 41. They have all kinds of information there on everything I've been talking about here and a whole lot more. If you want to discuss with me directly, comments. I get them. I respond quickly. This isn't one of those threads where I'll just sit there and not answer. If you have a question or you want to talk about it, let's chat. So do that. Make sure, like you said, you go down to Heroes. We'll have a new Under the Tights for you next week. I'm not sure exactly which direction I'm going to go with. I know Thor Ragnarok is right around the corner. I've done a little bit of talk about that already in the past, but I haven't really dug into it. So maybe, just maybe, we'll do that. Maybe the relationship between Thor and the Hulk. I think that's an interesting story too. But if you have one that you want to do or one that you think I should do, also leave that in the comments below. And I will see you at Heroes Comics on Shaw and Highway 41.